Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Transparent Homeschool. My name is Beth, and I am a first-time homeschool mom to a kindergartner and a 3-year-old. And so this is our first year homeschooling, and so this channel is about our journey, starting out and the struggles that we're going through, and just keeping it real so that if you have struggles or need just some place to kind of know that you're not alone, this is the place. I'm pretty transparent. But today I'm going to be talking about the reasons why my husband and I chose to homeschool our kids. So 2 things to say here. Number 1, my kids did not ever go to a public school setting or a setting in which they were amongst a larger group of kids. We do have a homeschool group, so that's, one, but and we go to our church every weekend, which is a lot of kids. But on the whole, they've never been to a Monday through Friday kind of establishment. So, saying that, the way that I know some of these things that I do about the public school system is because almost like 50% of the people in my social circle are teachers. Like a whole bunch of people in my extended family are teachers, and a bunch of my friends are teachers. And my sister has been a kindergarten teacher for 10, 11 years. And so some of the stories that I hear and the teacher talk that they have has helped me form some of these reasons. I have a list down here. I'm just going to read through them. I'm only going to explain a few of them, but I won't explain all of them. And then lastly, these are just my reasons and they're my opinions, okay? Everyone can have different reasons for homeschooling, and that's great. I think it just really shows the diversity and just the collective group of people that have chosen to homeschool. And some of them are religious, some of them are secular, and all in between, and that's great. Because guys, our school system is a mess. It is in shambles, and they're trying to fix it, but I just don't know if they know how. And so the more people I think that choose to homeschool and to take their children's education into their own hands is a great thing. So I'm just going to get started. Again, I'm just going to read through these, and then I'm going to explain a few of them. The first one I will explain. So a few years ago, I went to my sister's classroom on the last day of school after the kids had left to help her clean up and kind of de-germ the room. And so my back was turned to my sister, and so I was doing my thing. I don't remember what I was doing. I think it was cleaning tables or something. A first grade teacher walked in, and they were talking about summer plans, and they were just, really relieved that the year was over. And the first grade teacher just kind of nonchalantly was like, "Oh, what kind of group of kids you're going to pass on this time?" And my sister just, matter-of-factly responded, the usual, you win some, you lose some. And I was like, you win some, you lose some? Wow. And so, going on further in the conversation, they were just talking about their test scores for the most part as a grade. And kindergarten had really good test scores, but then there was this group of kids that just really flat out were just terrible. They failed. And they had to be passed on anyway. And so the first grade teacher was like, what's new, And so I kind of was just taken aback at that at a second, because I just didn't realize that teachers knew that I guess that was a thing, was a problem. Kids not performing well on tests. And so it kind of shook me for a minute, because I didn't know all of a sudden if this was the place for me to be putting my son when he turns 5 or, when he's ready for kindergarten. If these teachers know that these kids aren't ready to go on, then they shouldn't be going on. They shouldn't be passed to the next grade or the next level, because they're just going to get lost somewhere down the road. And that's not what education should be about. It should be about making sure each individual child is ready to go on before they do. Then there are IEPs, right, that help, teachers kind of identify which children are going to need more help in this area or this area. And I think those are good things, but I don't think that it's as well thought out as it was intended to be. You just can't give the children the attention they deserve individually when you have such a large class size. And again, guys, this isn't the fault of the teacher. I love teachers, and I think that we should all support our teachers because they're the ones doing that hard work for us as parents, and they spend most of their day with our kids. And so we should support them and we should encourage them. But on the other hand, as parents, we need to step back and say like, I don't want my kid to be held back because I don't want that stigma to be on my kid. Listen, guys, that's not what it should be about. It should be about, is my child ready to move on? If not, hold them back so that they can succeed. Give them the tools that they need to succeed. So those gaps in education, right? It was one of the things that I was not a fan of. I did not like the talk I heard about that subject. So my husband and I decided probably not the best. Next, we just like having control over our son's social world. There will be bad influences that he could be around in public school, and we don't have any control over that. The next point is the public school allows things to be taught that do not coincide with our beliefs, and they are not completely consistent with what we believe in. Next, character building. Again, this is something that is, I think, well-intended in the public school system. We want to teach our children to be respectful and really well-rounded people, but it just doesn't happen. When you homeschool, you have the entire day to make sure that you are molding your children to be well-rounded, respectful adults. There's no competition in homeschool. It's all about basically teamwork, like we want to bolster up our children and not put them against each other. That just breeds an environment of just unrest and just not nice people. Now, not to say competition is bad, okay? I love competition in sports and maybe in like the workplace. I think that's kind of a really good thing to have, is that ambition. But teamwork does teach, or competition does teach teamwork. It teaches sportsmanship and like collaboration and all of those really good qualities. And that's good, but I don't think it belongs in education. Next, which is probably the most important thing, is it allows us to spend a lot more family time together. When your kids go to public school, you're looking at an 8 to 10 hour day. And I feel that that's way too long for kids to be away from their families. Guys, the family is the fundamental unit in which children can belong, and they can feel themselves and feel that freedom to be themselves, right? All the time. And so when we're taking that time and limiting it to, this small little sliver during their day, I don't know, if that's a good thing or bad thing. Now, I understand some situations can't be helped, and there are times when you have to make, really tough sacrifices as a family. But I'm just saying, for us as our family, homeschooling has allowed us to really make family time the centerpiece of our homeschool day. My husband works super crazy hours, and so sometimes he'll get up at like 3 and work until 4:30, come home and nap, and then we have the rest of the night to be a family. There's no homework, there's no other things that we have to do, so we have that freedom. Other days he'll go to work at 2 o'clock and work all night. So on those days we don't do school in the morning, and, we'll do it when he leaves, just to get that family time. Guys, my kids get to spend so much more time with their dad than they would if they were in public school. I get to spend so much time with my husband, and as a family, we get to spend that really good time together. Sibling relationships, it just fosters that really solid foundation of good friendships, because they have to be around each other all day. So they need to get along. They need to learn how to get along with each other and how to resolve any conflict that exists between them. I'm not saying in any realm of anything that my children get along 100% of the time. Oh goodness, no. I wish they would. Oh, that'd be so amazing. But the truth is, when you're around somebody, you have to learn how to get along with them. You have to, or else your day is going to be awful. And so whether you like that person or you don't, you need to learn how to coexist with that person. And so when my children are around each other all day, they have to foster a loving relationship, or else they're not going to have anybody to play with or talk to or have fun with. So I have found that it has made a huge difference in the hearts of my children toward one another. And I think that is something that should also be a high priority up there with family time. Next, it's a better understanding, or at least it offers a better understanding of real life. People say, oh my gosh, your kids don't go to like public school. How are they ever going to learn about real life? A lot more than they would if they went into public school, I can guarantee you. We just have the time, again, and I'm not saying that people who go to public school don't learn how to do real life skills, but it's just a lot easier to offer those opportunities when you homeschool. You can have your children help you cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day, cleaning up after dinner, cleaning up toys, cleaning up the room, doing laundry, yard work. All of these things can happen on a much more daily or consistent basis than just on the weekend, doing chores. But on the other side of that is because we have the freedom to, the flexibility to move our schedule around. By the way, we only homeschool for 3 hours a day. Now, my son is 5, and I understand that as he gets older, our day will extend. But for right now, in this season of life, our homeschool day is 3 hours, okay? And we get everything done that we have to. After that, we can have the rest of the day to do whatever it is that needs to be done. If we need to go to the post office, or the grocery store, or the doctor's, or the dentist, or this, that, the other, my kids get to be a part of that and see how real life works outside of a school setting. And I feel like that is just invaluable information for a young person to be exposed to and then grow up with. The other thing is it allows us to chase our children's passions and allows them to explore what they're interested in. Next, I go to bed at night, and I'm sure this is true for other people, maybe not, homeschooling parents, but parents who work too, but this is just a reason that I chose to share with you. I go to bed at night and I am completely exhausted, but I'm completely at peace with knowing that I did everything that I could that day to make sure that my children were invested in, again, with that character building. I did everything I could to teach them good character, to model good character. Sometimes I fail. A lot of times I do, actually. But, we're teaching good character to our children. And when you can go to bed at night knowing you did everything in your power to make sure that the little time that you have with them was spent well and spent intentionally, I think it's a lot more peaceful than if you wish you could have done that this day, or you really need to address this with your kids. It allows behavioral issues to be dealt with when they need to be. So I encourage you, if you ever go to bed just wondering if there's another way to spend more time with your family or to make more of an investment in your children, consider homeschooling. It's not scary, I promise. I did another video, and I'll link it above, about the reasons I was afraid to homeschool. But, guys, after almost a year of doing it, none of those reasons even exist anymore. They don't. They really don't. And it just shows that I don't know if I was making excuses for myself or if I was just letting other people's seeds of doubt kind of infiltrate my focus, but they just don't exist. Those worries don't exist anymore. But to go along with that is my last point, and this is probably the first reason why we chose to homeschool, is it was a calling. It was something that God had placed in front of me, and I chose to step out and follow that. It is hard, guys. It is hard some days, and you are committed. It takes a lot of time and a lot of planning. But though I find that fun just because I'm weird, but it's hard. It's a full-time job. It is a vocation all in itself, but it's so worthy and it's so good. I'm not saying other vocations aren't worthy or aren't good. I'm just saying that we have been given this small amount of time with our children, and there's time before we have kids and there's time after we have kids to dedicate our lives to our vocations, and we might really enjoy our jobs, and that's great. But homeschooling parents, well, just parents in general, I guess, if you have the ability to have a one-income household while one person stays home to teach your children, I really encourage you to just consider it, okay? Because it makes such a difference in the life of your family, in the life of your kids, and then in your own life. You get to spend so much time with your kids. People say, oh my goodness, I don't think I could homeschool my kids. Like, I don't know if I could spend that much time with my kids. Really? Like, I enjoy being around my children. They're a delight. Not all the time. I wish they were. But they are a delight most of the time. And again, we are fostering these memories that might not ever have been fostered. And I'm doing my part to raise them the way I think that they should be. And it's a calling, guys. It is. And, again, with the peace thing, like, I know in my heart that I am doing everything that I can so that I can rest. I can rest knowing I did all in my power to make my children the best that they can be. And I'm not trusting that to somebody else. Again, our teachers are amazing and they're awesome, and they also have chosen a vocation that is worthy. But as parents, I think we have a responsibility for ourselves to do everything that we can do to make that difference in our children. Again, these are my opinions. So if you disagree, that's fine. And you are absolutely free to do that. But I'm just sharing what I think would be my top reasons for homeschooling. So thank you for watching, and I will probably make another video in a few days. But just thanks for watching. And again, if you have any comments of any of the reasons that you chose to homeschool, you just drop them below so I can read them and maybe add those to my list as well. So thank you, and I will see you later. Bye.